And that is the notification that it is time for class. Okay, for class to start. Greetings, everyone. All of you beautiful goddesses. Let me turn my sound up. Can you hear me okay? So tonight's class is a very interesting class. And a lot of people are either very excited to know about it or they're terrified and want to know nothing at all. We have about an hour and a half, and I'm going to walk you through some really basic steps. Tonight's class is the secret between manifestations and sex. And I will try to answer as many questions as I can. If I don't have time for Q&A, you can post questions underneath the replay, and I will answer those questions there. I'm getting a little adjusted here. All right. Okay. So the secret between manifestation and sex. This is really about activating your creative womb power to manifest your deepest desires. And if you are inspired by this and you want to go deeper, right now you can get into frequency, goddess frequency now. One of the main things that we use in quantum leaping, manifesting, designing our lives, collapsing time, all of those things is feminine energy. Our feminine energy comes from the womb. So if you look at goddess frequency, and the reason it's called goddess frequency now is because it is being updated. So I am opening it up early. So there will be only 10 beautiful women that get to participate in the creation and the new development and the expansion of this program. This is Goddess Frequency is my signature one-on-one coaching program that is several months long and is $5,555 right now. You can get it for $1,000, and the first, I think, 3 people get it half off. Why? Because I'm expanding it. So you'll be present for the teaching of the new classes, along with those who have already gone through the coaching program. Once you are in the program, you're in for life. So as I add courses, as I expand on the knowledge and the techniques, you have access for life to the content. And a lot of them, everybody before you came before this app. So now they really have this sacred community or society of these high frequency goddesses that have been in the program, and you're able to chat with one another. Before, you were only really able to chat during class and when I had open office. So if you feel so moved, by all means, take a look at it. I'll post it in the main section of University so that you can take a look at it. This is just like a big toe dip in the ocean to what it is that we go into in goddess frequency. In goddess frequency now, which you're going to have access to. The only real difference between goddess frequency now and the $5,000 version is how long and how in depth of access that you have to me. The course material is the same. You'll be present for everything and have access to all of the material and the community of women to chat with. Okay. And then you end up with like 8 weeks of Voxer versus 6 months. And yeah, and you don't get as many one-on-one sessions with me, but that's that's the difference. So if people, and I know a lot of you have been, and I'm going to get to class in just a second, but a lot of you make requests to join because the course titles are so juicy. I promise you the courses themselves are even juicier. So let's get into this. The secret between manifestation and sex. So as always, when we're in class, if you've got a candle, light your candle. And damn it, I do not have a lighter. Um, I'm gonna pause for 1 second. Can't mess with the frequency. I'm gonna grab a lighter. Plus, I'm outside, so it'll keep little bugs away. Oops. Okay, and for those of you who are new to me, we treat class like opening the sacred circle, which is why you are encouraged to have a drink of your choice, light your candle, use this as your divine alone time. A lot of the students listen while they're in the tub. I'm struggling, y'all. It's windy out here. Okay, so I've got part of my candle lit. And we open every class just as we do a sacred circle. Come back to this one. My outdoor candle is huge. We're gonna clear the space. We're gonna call in some divine feminine, like Kylie. We're gonna call in Oshun. We're gonna call in Lilith, and we're gonna anchor to our womb power in this space, and we are going to set the intention. And the intention that I am setting here, I'm going to set a collective intention, and I want you to set your own personal sacred intention. Whatever that intention is for tonight, I want you to write that down. Like, I'm so excited about another project. I do apologize, I'm a little off. We're not going to do a card reading today. I do have a new set of cards coming for our feminine frequency classes that you guys will love for next month. For any of you that are new and are attending class with me for the first time, welcome. I am Goddess LaMeel of LaMeel.com, Goddess University, Goddess Life Ministries, Lux and Light Apothecary, High Fashion Chocolate. I am the author and creator of the Goddess Codes. And we're going to be talking about the secret between manifestation and sex. And I don't really know that it's so much of a secret, but let's get into it. So, understanding sexual energy as creative energy. That's number one. When you accept that sexual energy is nothing more than creative energy, and the fact that it is the most powerful energy that we have access to. Why? Because sexual energy creates life, right? So, sexual energy is life force. It's the same energy that creates life and is the most potent energy that we hold within our body. Your womb, our womb space, is a portal. It's not just like physical birth, but also for spiritual birth. That's why we haven't taken the class about, your body's a temple, creating sacred space, those types of classes. Go check those out. Every desire begins in your womb. It is the womb of your mind and your energy body. Okay. In ancient traditions like Egyptian or Taoist or even Tantric, sexual energy was considered sacred, powerful, and essential to manifestation rituals. We reverted out of that. We are just now catching up with what has always been known, with what has always been true. Sexual energy was once considered sacred and powerful by everyone. It was a known thing, not just for the elite few, because that's where it went from there. When they took it from the public, they made it an elite situation. That's when men became into power. Before priestesses were, so we were no longer goddesses, but there were still priestesses, and men had rose to power. However, in order for men to maintain and keep their power, most of them paid priestesses with jewels, whatever the currency was of the time, and any and everything that that priestess demanded, so that he could be in proximity to her for an evening. And yes, that included sex. That sex with that priestess ensured his safety. It ensured that his battle plans were foolproof. It allowed her to step in and become the oracle to guide him as to what to do with his troops for war and for political gain. Sex and manifestation are about creation, one physical, one energetic. They're twins in the spiritual realm, sex and manifestation. When you're in a state of arousal or orgasm, the brain waves shift into theta, the same state where you're most receptive to affirmations and reprogramming. That's going to be key, especially if you are going to be using couple sex for manifestation. Okay, because once you hit, your partner's going to need to start to be able to observe you to know when you hit the theta brainwave state. When you get there at this theta brainwave state, and you can even experience this by listening to the theta brainwave sound waves on like YouTube or what have you. But what happens when you get there is that your heart opens, your aura expands, and your frequency becomes magnetic. That's why, and if you're very, very good at it and your partner is not as practiced, one of the things that you have to consider is that sometimes your partner will be able to tell like you hit theta, and because you become so magnetic and your aura is expanding and your heart is opening, uh, they'll come before you do. Right then, right when you hit that theta state, they'll orgasm before you get to fully make the round. Okay, because that frequency takes usually will take them, someone who's not practiced, over the edge. And definitely someone who is older and not practiced, it will take them over the edge. So this is why so many mystics use sex as part of ritual, because during orgasm, the veil is very, very thin. Okay. It's like Halloween. Halloween night when the veil is thin. During orgasm, the veil is thin and your subconscious is wide open. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm doing great on time. um, your subconscious becomes wide open. Now, I want to address briefly here, and I probably will again later. You do not need a partner. It says my screen sharing is paused. What is that about? Okay. You do not need a partner to manifest during sex. You can manifest through sex solo or through masturbation. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, your partner does not have to be involved in the manifestation portion of it. Oh, about to set a fire. Does not have to be involved in the manifestation portion of it. So if you have a partner that sex is really good with, you can harness that energy in and of yourself. Or if you have a trainable partner, you can do it together. So, what's best practice? Number one, I suggest that you learn it and practice on your own. Okay. Best practice is to master through solo practice, because then you know your body, you know your peak, you know the difference. Next would be to try that with a partner without their knowledge. That is going to then give you the experience of the manifestation with a partner and any differentials that happen when you're with a partner versus solo. And then with an active partner. And then with if you have an active partner, then that would be the way to go all the time. But do not say like I'm married or I have a boyfriend or lover or whatever and only practice with them. You need to master this skill solo. And I'm gonna walk you through practices. In Goddess Frequency, we pause during classes for practice. Everyone turns their cameras off, etc. Okay, because you're looking to get to a certain frequency. And if you're struggling, then that's the best time to get guidance. But do not skip the mastering of the solo practice. Once you've done that, you can go anywhere with it. In solo practice, you can start with using theta uh, sound waves or brainwave sounds during your solo practice, right? While masturbating, that's the sound that you're going to want to have on. Now, some people are like, it doesn't get me in the mood. It's weird, blah, 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 blah. You play that and you play whatever music if you need music. But you have that going on so that it can be heard at least subconsciously and it will take you there. So the energetic mechanics of manifesting with sexual energy. Sex energy fuels manifestation when it is intentionally directed So the key here is to get yourself into the theta. I'm going to be on repeat a little bit because you need to take notes. Okay. You need to, in self practice and in couple manifestation, you're going to want to get to a theta brainwave state. You're going to want to know what you're manifesting ahead of time. The sexual energy fuels the manifestation when it is intentionally directed. You do not want to be in the midst of sex trying to figure out what you are going to manifest. Why? Because it takes you out of theta. It fucks it up. Okay. So if you know what you're going to manifest, it is very clear, it is very simple, and you can get in there, get to the theta brainwave state. Then the only thing that you really need to do is use the sexual energy to fuel the intention. Every time you orgasm, you're releasing power. And this is for man and woman. If it's unconscious, it disappears. If it's intentional, it amplifies your desire. So think about all the orgasms that you could have utilized to materialize greatness in your life, right? Stop letting your orgasm go to waste. Because even if it's the simplest, in that one peak moment, if you direct that energy of orgasm to a very intentionally specific thing, it supercharges it. It doesn't even have to be, we're not talking about some grand Dios sacred sex ritual. We're simply talking about using the energy of your orgasm to manifest. Now, can it be made into a huge ritual? Absolutely. Can that be fun? Deliciously so. However, is it necessary? No. And like I said, your partner doesn't even have to know what the fuck is going on. You can use your sexual energy to charge your sigils, your candles, your affirmations. You can use your sexual energy to empower your vision boards. Um, I'm trying to think of other things, anything along those lines. How do you do this? You lock in intention during climax. An orgasm equals energetic explosion. So imagine writing your manifestation on a piece of paper and placing it over a volcano and then setting the volcano off, right? That paper is gone to the fucking moon. That's what climaxing with intention actually is. That's how much power you give your intention. So, like I said, you can do this solo and call it sex magic or with a partner. In partner work, it's important that energy exchange is clean and aligned. Okay. That's why we do not want to start there. If the person and your partner, and that's why I said you can do this with a partner who doesn't know what's going on and reap the benefits. But if you have a partner that, is secretly jealous of you, if you have a partner that is really not looking for you to thrive, if you are in a situationship, if you are in a hookup, that's not considered what did I call it? Clean and aligned energy between the two of you. If you're hooking up, you know what I'm saying? That's not the energy. It's not a clean and aligned energy. You don't know them well enough to go into something like this with them because you don't know what they're going to bring. And if it's somebody that's not really for you, and I'm going to tell you, for most client wise, I tell every client not to do partner work, right? Not to do partner work. There are women who claim to me that they're very, very happy, and they, they're not desiring divorce, but they also have the feeling of, if I ever get a divorce, I'll never get married again. I never do this like this again. If you feel that way, it's not clean, it's not aligned. If you are looking for an out, it's not clean, it's not aligned. If you feel like he's cheating, it's not clean, it's not aligned. Okay, that's why it's important to master the solo practice first. So womb wisdom and like clearing blocks to manifestation. Using sex to manifest does not change the fact that you need to clear your manifestation block, right? If you've got next Thursday, I'm going to try putting my mic in because it filters sound since I'm I'm outside. So you have to still deal with your manifestation blocks. And the womb is a storage vessel. Okay. So if you still have a lot of trauma and a lot of negativity stored in the womb, you need to clear that before you start doing sex magic, especially with partners. Okay. The womb is a storage vessel, not just for life, but for trauma, for old lovers, for betrayal, for fear, for uncertainty, for unworthiness, all of that. Many women struggle with manifestation because their womb is energetically clogged. Your regular manifestations will heighten when your womb is clear. This is something else that we go very deep into in goddess frequency. So practices like womb healing, meditation, yoni steaming, womb tea, journaling, old lovers, uh, energetic cord cutting and removal, womb reconnection. If you have been sexually assaulted, um, healing those traumas. And some people don't have those things, but I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I had a client that, she was in goddess frequency, and we're moving through the work and we're moving through the work, and it appears like she's getting it. Like she knows the work. She knows her shit. She gets the concept, but the manifestations were not materializing. So I said, okay, let's scale back. Right. And we scale back, and still manifestations not materializing. And I'm like, what in the fresh fuck is going on? Oh, that's too big. You guys can't see that. So I do divination on what's going on. And her womb is clogged. But she's like, I've never been assaulted. I don't have, blah, blah, blah. I didn't really have. But what was going on with her is that she was in a marriage. Can't remember, was she married or she was in whatever they lived together. Okay. So she's in a situation where sex wasn't that great. He wasn't that good. It wasn't satisfying. And so it was robotic. Like he wanted it. She opened up, let him do what he had to do. It was kind of like The Color Purple. Like he just climbed on top of me and did his business. And I just laid there while he did his business, right? It was that kind of energy around her sex life with her partner. Mind you, she's trying to master solo practice, but because he essentially was using her as um, his own masturbative dumping field, he's dumping because the sex is not good. So his mind's fucked up. And that's what he's dumping into her. So night after night, he's ejaculating nonsense and worthlessness and pity into her, and she's allowing her womb space to be used as a fucking garbage can to meet what she felt like was the obligation for being in this relationship. And that shit clogged her womb. So I was like, you've got to stop having sex with him. And she was like, oh my God. So I was like, tell dude, you got to use perfection, whatever. Period started early, like whatever it needs to be done. Long, shorten the story, 10 days in with no contact, her first scaled back manifestation showed up. We went through the practices. So we did some womb healing, we did the yoni steaming. We did cord removals, right? Because I don't do cuttings anymore. At that point, I had started doing removals, and I'm doing my removals different now. So we did removals, and we had to do multiple removals. We literally did a removal for every partner she had ever had. Big manifestation started showing up. Like instantly, she was making six figures through a series of completely energetically aligned, um, what appeared to be coincidences, right? Universe, you move people, places, things, like shit that she planted seeds for a decade ago were finally able to sprout because she cleared out the old energetics. Yes, when she was on her cycle or he was gone on a trip, yes, she had that time, but she didn't cleanse during those times, right, in the past. And while when she was newly into the program, and um, she allowed him back. Now, they never ended up being together again. She actually ended up ending that relationship within 30 days of this particular practice. And she moved out, and she was able to move out. She was able to support herself. It was very, very divine. And I was very, very happy for her. And she is still part of Goddess Frequency today, right? So, your womb being energetically blocked will hold you back from your manifestations. Are you able to manifest from other places besides the womb? Yes. Do they happen as fast? Is it as easy? Blah, 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 blah. No. Okay. Just like shitty people can manifest money, that's not what this is about. But to get into alignment, to get into your feminine energy, other things like hormonal imbalances, heavy periods, fibroids, um, cysts in the uterus, all of those things contribute. When you start to address, when you start listening to your body, when you start aligning, when you engage in the practice of connecting your womb to your heart, and they become aligned, then manifesting is like breathing because you are birthing all of your desires. Does it take practice? Yes, because it's not how we've been taught to manifest. We've been taught to manifest in a more masculine way because we've been taught by men, right? So we're utilizing a more masculine way of manifesting, and manifestation is really a more feminine activity. So there's this masculine overcast on how to receive, because that's what the manifestation is. You ask and you receive. And so in goddess frequency, you have to unlearn all of those things. Do you have to be perfect at it? Can you, I've manifested and started manifesting, and I've written books about manifesting and could manifest all types of things for a very long time before, with my womb completely and totally being energetically stuck. Did it get hard sometimes when I started really trying to tap into what was going on in my heart? Yes, it was hard. When I no longer wanted to manic manifest, when I wanted to manifest without there being some kind of crisis situation, harder and harder and harder, right? Because my womb was energetically clogged. My hormones were imbalanced. I was sleeping with someone who was fucked up in the head and then was dumping that into me. The womb holds energetic imprints. And if those imprints are rooted in shame, scarcity, pain, hatred, fear, they will distort the frequency of your desire. So clearing the womb space frees your sexual energy to flow as a pure creative current. And that is when manifestation accelerates. So now I want to move into quantum sex magic rituals and some manifestation techniques. Are there any questions thus far? I'm going to move through, type your questions. Remember, you can direct questions to me in the chat that do not have to be seen by everyone. All right. Give me 1 second. It looks like somebody's having a little bit of an issue getting in. Okay, so some people are popping up with questions. All right, so they should be able to get in now. And let's see. How do I use sexual energy if I'm not sexually active and I don't have a partner? You're gonna have to develop a sacred solo practice, right? And it is actually more potent sometimes because you hold full energetic control. A partner is completely optional. Your womb and your intention are the keys. Okay. Let me get a little bit of light here. There we go. It's too bright. Okay. So I'm going to move on to talking about some techniques. Can I manifest during orgasm? What do I do in the moment? Okay. Yeah. So that's part of what. So I'm going to repeat this question, but I'm going to go through the techniques before I answer. The question is, can I manifest during orgasm? what do I do in that moment? So, yes, this is all about manifesting with the orgasm, right? It is that energy, that orgasmic energy of when you set your intention off. So, one of the first things you need to do is your breath work because you want to circulate sexual energy through your chakras. And you've seen the picture of the chakras, right? So, breathing during sex, if you have never practiced, makes it better, makes it completely and totally better. Okay. But the breath work that circulates sexual energy through the chakras is also known as a microcosmic orbit or the serpent breath. So you're going to get into a, you can sit or you can lie down. Since we don't have cameras on tonight, I suggest that you lie down so that you can be, you're still able to hear me because for this serpent, the serpent breath or the microcosmic orb, you want your spine to be straight. Okay. And you're going to place one hand on your yoni or your pussy, whatever word resonates with you, or your lower belly, right? It's around that sacral chakra, and one hand on your heart. And you're going to breathe slowly in and out through your nose. And you're going to ground yourself. You're going to feel that root chakra connecting to the earth. Breathe slowly, but take full breaths in and out through the nose. Now you're going to activate the breath, and you're going to do this. You're going to use a circle breath. So you're going to inhale deeply into the lower belly. Make sure it rises. And then exhale gently through your mouth. No pauses. And I know this is like a baby's breath, right? When you ever watch a sleeping baby and their belly rises when they inhale, and then we learn to breathe wrong. Okay, so you're inhaling and the belly rises, you're filling the belly. And then exhale gently through the mouth. Make that rhythmic with no pauses. Once you get a flow, you're going to make this very sensual and make it flow like waves. When you exhale, it should flatten. Now, if you do this for 1 or 2 minutes, it will start to activate the energy in your whole body. To keep your mind from wandering, you want to use the mantra, my breath is pleasure, my energy is power. So we're going to practice collectively for about a minute. There we go. So see how that feels. While you're in this breath, you're going to do a visualization of your desired manifestation. So for this practice tonight, as you practice these exercises, as I'm speaking them, of course, it's not with full concentration, but the very first thing I want you to try is $5. You are manifesting $5, okay? So while you're in this breath, inhaling through the nose, filling the belly, exhaling through the mouth. And start to make it rhythmic, right? So you can even move your body like a wave. It is important You're getting your body into a very sensual rhythm. And while you're doing that, you're going to visualize someone giving you $10 or $5, I'm sorry, or five people giving you $1. Or you wake up and you find $5, or you're walking and you find $5. As you're visualizing this, I want you to try self-touch activation or energy raising movements. Okay. So you should have your hand on your heart and your sacral chakra. Keep the breath and simply touch yourself. Okay. If you have on clothes or you don't have like short sleeves or whatever, get under your shirt so that you have skin to skin contact. Maintain the breathing. And as you think about the excitement that you'll experience so you're manifesting $5. When you have the $5, when you see the $5, okay, what does that feel like? What are you feeling? That excitement, that joy, that fuck yes, this shit works. Bring that energy into your womb. All you have to do is call it in there. Feel the joy in the womb. And now allow that joy and that excitement to travel from the womb up to your heart. By the time it gets to the heart, that rhythmic moving and touching should increase naturally. And then you move it up and into the third eye. When it hits the third eye, and it should move as the excitement climaxes. So when you get to the point of climaxing, that's when the energy should be moved to the third eye and at the peak. Now, I'm talking about self-touching during this exercise because I'm giving you a guided tour of what this feels like. When you are doing this on your own, this is the self-touching and the energy rising movement is your masturbation, right? That's what's happening. You are masturbating. You are thinking about the desired manifestation. And then you are bringing that energy of excitement, the energy of I have it, not you're looking for it, not you're waiting for it, the energy of it's here. Boom. That's what you pull in to your womb. Okay. And you allow it to kind of imagine it sort of as it rises up, rising up in a coil like energy. Let it get to your heart. And that's when you should be right around peak, right? To where your body is basically moving itself, breathing itself. And then as you get to climax, that's where it should hit the third eye. When it hits the third eye and you hit climax, you want to peak with a loud release. That sends it into the quantum field. So before I move on, are there any questions about like what I described? We can come back if you think of another question. I just want to know before I move on to what happens after climax. Okay, I think I accidentally paused my. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard that question. It is basically asking for me to expand upon the self-touch activation and energy rising. So these are really sacred acts that go beyond physical. This is like rituals of remembrance, awakening your central codes. It's activating your manifestation magnetism through your own body. So self-touch activation is a conscious sensual practice where you awaken and direct your sexual and energetic power through the act of touching your body with presence, intention, and love, right? That is that masturbation. But it's not just masturbation. You're not doing this for the point of release. You're not doing this for performance. Says my screen sharing has paused again. Why? Huh. Okay. So it says I'm sharing now. Like, I don't know what was going on. Okay. So, back to the question. Your self-touch activation. Um, it's an energetic invocation, right, of your power, activating your chakras. It's stimulating your sensuality and it's realigning you with your deepest truth, right? You are source and that source energy is moving through you. So what happens during it? When you're lovingly and mindfully touching yourself, and it doesn't just have to be like the physical act of masturbation, it is all of it. So you start with your skin, your womb space, your breasts, your face, your thighs. When you start there, right, it activates the blood flow and the energy. It causes you to release oxytocin, which is that love hormone, which activates the heart. The cellular memory of pleasure, safety, and divine embodiment happens when you start self-touching, self-loving, and giving your body the attention that you need. It creates this magnetic frequency that amplifies your intentions and manifestations. So you can start with the heart. If you need to talk to yourself, you can say, like, I am love, I am open. You can move to the neck and throat caress slowly, sensually. This will open the throat chakra and prepare for that aligned expression of release when it actually is moved up and through you. When you are cupping, massaging, and gently holding your breast, you can imagine like light swirling around the nipples because this stimulates oxytocin and pleasure pathways. Rub on your belly, rub on your womb space, in soft spirals. You can even tap or pulse gently over your womb. The saying, "My womb is a portal of divine creation." All of these things are going to start to activate you sensually. Do not leave out your thighs and your inner legs. Stroke them slowly, like you're calling your own energy back home. You do not need to go straight to the vagina, right? You want to linger and create excitement and create anticipation before then. Now, when you get, and some women can climax from just this. Yay, 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 if you can, right? Because that means that you are orgasmically living life, right? So that's great. Those who have not gotten there yet, you may want to place your hand um, over your vagina if you do not want to do full masturbation. Just touch around the outside and whisper loving words to her. Okay. That is even great to do before you enter, because before you enter, she should be bloomed fully like a lotus. If you are doing the full practice with the actual masturbation, your body is not ready until the vagina has fully bloomed. And when you enter, saying things like, "You are safe, you are sacred, you are mine," are really, really good things to say. Okay. And then go into the physical masturbation. So I also want to talk about what an energy rising movement is. And this is just intuitive body movement that helps you move central energy or kundalini, which is at the base of the spine, up through the chakras instead of letting it be stagnant in the lower body. So think of it like breathing fire up the spine, and your movement becomes the wand that lifts your desire into manifestation frequency. So what does that look like? Um, Spine undulations, right? So you are seated in an upright position or laying on your back, but you are circling the spine. Like belly dancing or cat or cow pose is also a good position to try. Pelvic floor tilts or figure eights. This activates your sacral chakra. If you do swaying and rolling your hips, even slow grinding while seated or standing is delicious. And snake-like arms and shoulder movements. That's like a chakra, what do you call it? I can't think of the belly dancing term, but you moving your arms like a snake. Okay. Then there's chakra brushing, where you literally sweep or glide your hands up over your body, tracing energy from the root to the crown, right? So you're actually in contact. Remember, you are magnetic. So you have magnetic energy in your hand. When you touch to the body and you move up, you are moving that energy up your body into the crown. And allowing for moans and hums to vibrate the energy upward. So don't quiet your voice. So what this does spiritually for you is that it clears the blockages in the energetic field. It activates your kundalini, which is that divine feminine life force. And it's going to move energy through the chakra system, like turning on the lights in your temple. And it definitely, most definitely links your physical pleasure to your quantum creation. Okay. So after the climax or the peak energy, you're going to come into a grounding breath and you're going to hold your womb and whisper your desires. Now, remember, you spoke your desire at climax, right? When you moved it up into the crown chakra. You spoke it or you thought it. Doesn't have to be spoken aloud. As you come down from that climax, you go into your grounding breath and you whisper your desire again. And this time you're visualizing it done. Like you are living it. I am now living whatever. And you're done. Right. So that's why, and I know that it seems like a lot, and it seems like you may have a lot going on. And I tried to speak this in a way that you could listen to it. Um, and that's why we had cameras off tonight. Uh, I tried to speak this in a way that you could listen to it and do the practice. Okay. I tried to, so that way you could have some sense of guidance because it is going to take practice to remember it all, forget it all. But oh, how delicious the practice can be and how much fun the practice can be. So now there's a couple of more questions in the chat. I don't know where this paper came from. That I do want to go back and let's talk about. We've got a good 30 minutes left. So, can I manifest during orgasm and what do I do in that moment? Yes. So, before or during climax, you focus your mind on your desire as if it's already real. And then you say mentally or aloud, I am now living in whatever it is. It imprints the quantum field with high potency. Okay. So, and then after you've climaxed, that's how you come down. The next one is it okay to masturbate for manifestation or is that taboo spiritually? Masturbation is sacred. So, um, that's why I said some of you can go through this climax without the masturbation, but that's what this is about. Okay. This is about the masturbation. I am saying very, very clearly, let me be very, very clear. It is best to master sexual masturbation for manifestation first before you add a partner to it. It's a ritual act of creation. You're literally raising life force energy. It becomes taboo only when it's compulsive or shame based, but you're a temple. So we not on that kind of time. That's not what this is. That's not the energy that we're emitting. That's not any of that. Okay. Um, you're welcome. Uh, what do I why do I feel numb or disconnected from my yoni space? Okay. So if you feel disconnected or you feel numb, that is a sign that there is stored trauma generational shame, uh, suppression, that kind of stuff will disconnect us. The numbness is a signal, okay? It's not really a flaw. So, what you want to do is womb work, breath, sound, and touch can reawaken that area over time. Um, Energy healing, energy medicine for the womb, along with things like the yoni steam, the yoni teas. Send me a message afterwards. I will send you some links to some things that you can try, or you can, more than welcome, schedule time for us to talk. Okay. Um, let's see. The next one. Can blocked womb energy affect my manifestation? Absolutely. If the womb holds pain, trauma, or even soul ties, it distorts your frequency. That's the example that I was talking about. That's why we clear, cleanse, and bless the womb to make it for a fertile field for divine creation. Now we go into great depths of this in um, Goddess Frequency and Goddess Frequency Now. We do the work, collectively, we do it together over time, and it's a requirement. You got to be able to check the boxes. And I'm going to use this time to talk a little bit more about that program because I think all women need to be in it, which is why the price is lowered right now. But to give everyone a low barrier to entry. One of the things that we do, like between each of our sessions, there's work to be done. You get your session with me when you've done the work. So some people, even people who, paid the full price previously at the 55, maybe they did a yoni steam, but they didn't do a home yoni steam. They scheduled an appointment. Well, they don't have their appointment with me till after the yoni steam. Okay. If you're doing a yoni steam at home and you've ordered the herbs and they haven't got there yet, so you haven't done it, you don't get your session with me until it does, right? So every session with me requires a set of work that has to have been done beforehand. So you learn the material, you get the course, you get the lives, but you have to do the work to move forward. That's how we know that the work is done. Okay. And you can't get to the next level by lying. There's no way around clearing and cleansing and blessing the womb. There is no way to fake having a fertile field for divine creation. All right, next question. Oops. I'm sorry, I'm so sniffly. I should have taken some allergy medicine before I sat outside. What's the difference between manifesting with my mind versus with my womb, blah, blah. Manifesting from the mind is logic based, it is masculine based. It works because that's where I started. Okay. That's where most people start. That's where most of the information that is out there and available to us is about. Manifestation from the womb is quantum. Okay. There's people out there that'll tell you, oh, we're doing quantum manifestation. But if you're not using any womb tactic, it's not really quantum. You can quantum leap, but you are not manifesting from the womb. When you are manifesting from the womb, it is quantum. It taps into emotional, sensual, and energetic powers. Mind equals a blueprint, right? When you're manifesting with your mind, you have a blueprint you're following step by step. When you manifest with your womb, the womb is a portal. You are stepping through. It is completely different. It's a completely different experience, and it is divine. Let's see. Next, how often should I do sex magic rituals for manifestation? Follow your natural cycle. New moon for calling in, full moon for either amplification or the release. Okay. Daily solo practices to raise energy and to fine tune. So one of the things I think we're going to be adding is like a 30-day solo practice expansion, which I've never done before with this new group. We'll see where it leads because I think that's going to be very, very magnetizing. But you really want to listen to your body's rhythm. If your womb wants it, trust it. Okay. Um, should I speak my desire out loud or keep it in my mind during orgasm? Both work. Speaking out loud charges your throat chakra and affirms the spell. In silence, it's deeply internal. So when you are in solo, I recommend out loud so that you can charge the throat chakra. Okay, if you are with a partner who is non-participating, then do it internally. If you are with a participating partner and he is able to anticipate that you are there at orgasm, the way that he helps you is right at and through your orgasm. He's asking you to verbalize your manifestation. That right there is explosive. And if he does it with you, it's even more explosive. Okay. But do most powerful to you. Let's see what's next. Can I manifest multiple things during one session or should I focus on one? One is best per climax. Okay. It keeps the energy focused. And you can stack intentions in layers or do separate sessions for each, but trust what feels most aligned. Starting out, I would say one per climax. Look at y'all with all the questions. Okay, what should I do if I get emotional or cry during the breath work or the ritual? That is perfect, right? Because you've opened your heart center. Tears are emotional alchemy. They mean something is releasing, so you want to let it flow. You're feeling, you're unlocking, and you're expanding. So it's excellent. Let's see. Can I use this energy to heal others or amplify their manifestations? So, with permission and intention, yes. But be mindful, please. We are not here to heal other people. We are not doctors. We don't have degrees in this kind of stuff, right? Like, focus on you first. This is divine personal energy. So you always want to check, am I being called or am I rescuing? Right? We're not here to rescue people, especially with your divine sexual energy. We not out here trying to be, Captain Save a Ho. We're out here manifesting our dreams, our intentions. Master that first. And then the other person may be receptive when they see what you created. Is it dangerous to open these energetic portals without protection? Not dangerous, but it is important to set sacred space. Remember, I started the class and I said, if you haven't taken, like, your body is a temple class, if you haven't taken creating a sacred space class, like, do those things. And if you have yet to do some of those, like, call in your guides and seal your energy afterwards. Intention equals a protection, right? So you can call in your guides as you set the mood, and you can seal your energy afterwards. If you don't know how to seal and raise your energy, there's a class, Sacred Shielding 101. It's also on all my social media. On TikTok, it's a pinned video. It is over 1 million views. What if my partner isn't spiritually aligned with this kind of work? You can still do solo practices. Even when you're with him, you do all of that work at climax in your own mind. If you're partnered, set the intention for heart coherence. And then if they're open, then you can invite them gently. You are the altar, And so their curiosity will follow your frequency. They may notice during sex that something different is happening. Okay. And then they may be inclined to ask, like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting for us. I'm manifesting for me. I'm doing whatever I do. Okay. And that may open the door for them to want to join in, to ask more questions, to be super involved. Um, and that's the last question. So I appreciate you guys being here. This was a class to give you a taste, right? This was a class to teach you a technique. I want to offer you this mantra to seal the energy of this class. My pleasure is power. My womb is a portal. I am a goddess. I create worlds. So if you got here because I've posted this publicly, if you've gotten here because you joined through Eventbrite, if you've gotten here because you joined through Meetup, um, and I want to invite you to join Goddess University. All of these classes are inclusive. So however you are seeing this class, there are classes every week and there are courses full courses released every month on spiritual magic, feminine frequency and energy, feminine finances, and physical and spiritual healing. Okay. Uh, Also, I'm going to put the links everywhere, including in university. So, because yesterday is when I opened the portal for Goddess Frequency Now at the huge discounted rate that it is. Uh, our next session starts on the 8th of June. And then I will close the doors. You'll only be able to get on a waiting list until the current group moves through the material at a point. It may be winter when that happens. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free. I don't know what I just did. Let me just stop sharing my screen here. I don't know what I did. I was trying to give you a visual instead of my face. Proved to be a bit of a distraction. Anyway, I thank you for allowing me in your energy. I thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for being here as part of the collective. I love all of you genuinely. If you have questions, post them wherever you are participating in this course tonight, and I will answer as many of them as thoroughly as I possibly can. Love you. Bye.